You did not lose her. You pushed her away without realizing it. Right now, you are staring at your phone hoping one message fixes everything. You keep typing something perfect, deleting it, then trying again with more pressure. Because deep down, you believe the right words can rebuild attraction instantly. But every message you send is quietly lowering her attraction even more. You call it effort, but she feels it as pressure and emotional neediness. And the more you try to fix things, the more she pulls away. That confusion is what keeps you stuck inside this endless loop. You think she just needs clarity, but she actually needs distance from you. Because attraction does not grow when someone feels emotionally overwhelmed constantly. It grows when there is space, tension, and something she cannot fully understand. And right now, you are giving her the exact opposite of that. And if you keep doing this, you will lose her completely without noticing. So you do what feels logical, you try harder, you show more effort, you send longer texts, clearer explanations, hoping she finally understands everything. But attraction does not respond to logic, it responds to emotional pressure signals. And every extra message tells her you are losing control of yourself. You think you are fixing things, but you are reinforcing her decisions silently. Because when someone feels overwhelmed, their brain looks for distance, not connection. It is not about what you say. It is about how you make her feel. And right now, you are making her feel trapped, not excited or curious. That is why she replies slower, shorter, or sometimes not at all. You check your phone again, thinking maybe she is just busy today. But deep down, you feel something slipping and you cannot stop it. Because the more you chase clarity, the less attraction actually remains. And the hardest truth is, your instincts are causing the damage right now. So, if everything you feel like doing is actually making things worse, then the solution is not doing more. It is doing something completely different. There is a psychological reset system built around attraction and emotional tension, not based on guessing, but on how human behavior actually responds under pressure. It follows a clear structure, step by step, from day one forward. Not to convince her logically, but to shift how she emotionally experiences you. Because attraction rebuilds when perception changes, not when explanations improve. And once perception shifts, her behavior begins changing without you forcing anything. You are not trying to win her back, you are becoming hard to read again. And that uncertainty is what makes her start thinking about you differently. Everything from this point forward will feel counterintuitive, almost uncomfortable at first. But that discomfort is the exact signal you are finally moving correctly. And the first move that changes everything is disappearing completely. Disappearing does not mean playing games, it means removing emotional pressure completely. Not texting less, not waiting hours, but actually going fully off her radar. No checking her stories at 2 in the morning, no silent stalking habits. Because even invisible attention keeps you mentally attached to the situation. The first days feel brutal, your brain keeps reaching for your phone automatically. You type messages in your notes, telling yourself you will not send them. That urge is not love, it is withdrawal from emotional dependency patterns. And the more you resist it, the more control you slowly regain internally. Attraction psychology shows absence reduces negative emotional reinforcement over time. When she stops seeing you, the emotional weight of the past starts fading. But if you break silence early, you reset everything back to zero instantly. This phase is not about making her miss you, it is about detaching yourself. Because a man who still needs her will always communicate that unconsciously, and she can feel that need even before you say a single word. When your energy shifts from chasing to grounded, everything else starts aligning. You begin focusing on your life, your habits, your physical and mental growth. Not to impress her, but to rebuild a version of yourself she never saw. And That invisible shift becomes the foundation for everything that comes next. Because the moment you stop reacting, you become someone she cannot predict anymore. After a few days of silence, something uncomfortable starts surfacing inside you. You realize you cannot control how this ends, no matter what you do. That thought hits hard because control was the only thing you relied on. You believed there was a perfect message, a perfect move, a perfect timing. But attraction does not follow logic, it follows emotional freedom and uncertainty. And the more you try to control the outcome, the more desperate you appear. That desperation leaks through your tone, your timing, your energy without you noticing. And so instead of forcing a result, you start accepting multiple possible outcomes. Maybe she comes back, maybe she does not, and both become acceptable. This shift lowers your emotional dependency, which directly changes your behavior patterns. You stop checking your phone every 10 minutes, hoping for validation signals. You stop building fantasies about fixing everything with one perfect interaction, because needing her to return creates pressure she can feel instantly. And once that pressure disappears, your presence starts feeling different automatically. You become calmer, more grounded, less reactive, and far less predictable. That unpredictability is what reopens curiosity inside her perception of you. Because the moment you release control, you stop pushing her away unconsciously. As the noise in your head quiets down, clarity starts replacing emotional confusion. You replay the timeline, not to blame her, but to understand your patterns. The moment she pulled away was not random. It followed repeated small signals. Maybe you overpursued, maybe you became too available, too predictable daily. Or maybe you ignored subtle signs she was slowly losing emotional interest. Attraction fades quietly before it disappears, and most men miss that shift because they focus on what they meant, not what she actually experienced. Intent does not matter here. Perception is the only thing that shapes attraction. So you start asking better questions. Not how to fix, but what broke. What version of you did she slowly disconnect from over time? And more importantly, what emotional experience did she walk away with? This is not about blaming yourself. It is about gaining real awareness. Because without awareness, you will repeat the same behavior automatically again. And no amount of silence will fix a pattern you never understood. So instead of guessing, you finally see the situation for what it was. That honesty hurts, but it gives you something far more valuable: control. Not control over her, but control over who you become next. And that is the exact shift that makes your next move unpredictable. So, when you come back, you do not explain anything about your absence. No long messages about growth, no emotional speeches trying to justify behavior. Because the moment you explain, you remove mystery and kill attraction instantly. Instead, you let her feel something different before she can even explain it. If you were always available, now you are selective with your time and energy. If you were predictable, now your responses feel slightly off script and grounded. This is not acting. It is revealing parts of yourself she never experienced. And that small contradiction starts breaking the image she built about you. Because in her mind, she already categorized you as someone fully understood. Now, something does not match, and her brain tries to resolve that gap. You reach out casually, like your life never stopped moving without her. You suggest meeting, simple, no pressure, no heavy emotional expectation attached. For a moment, things feel normal again, familiar, almost comfortable between you. Then you pull it back, you cancel without over-explaining anything at all. That moment creates a sharp break in her expectations about your behavior, because your return did not follow the pattern she was ready for. And now she does not know where she stands with you anymore. And that uncertainty is exactly what pulls her attention back toward you. Once her attention shifts back toward you, you do not chase it. You give her just enough to stay curious, but never fully satisfied. You send one simple message that feels incomplete on purpose. Something like, "I saw something today. It reminded me of you." Then you stop, no explanation, no follow-up, no extra context added. Her brain immediately starts trying to fill in the missing meaning, because humans naturally close loops when something feels unfinished emotionally. Within minutes, she reaches out, asking what you actually meant by that. And that moment is critical because now she is investing attention again. But instead of answering clearly, you give her a partial response only. Enough to keep the conversation alive, but not enough to resolve it. That unresolved tension stays in her mind long after the conversation ends. If she asks again later, it means the loop never fully closed. And when a question repeats, it shifts from curiosity into mild obsession. Now she is not just responding, she is thinking about you actively. You are no longer trying to gain attention, you are holding it naturally. And that shift is what starts reversing the emotional dynamic completely. As she starts investing more, you intentionally reduce your visible effort. Not disappearing again, but becoming less available in a noticeable way. Shorter replies, fewer messages, less time spent extending conversations unnecessarily. You are still present, still warm, but no longer constantly accessible. That subtle change creates contrast compared to how you used to behave. And contrast is what makes people notice value they ignored before. Her brain starts asking why you feel different without clear explanation. Because before, your attention was predictable. Now it feels limited and uncertain. Scarcity increases perceived value. This is basic human attraction psychology. So, instead of chasing her attention, you let her move toward you. Maybe she sees you active, social, comfortable around other women casually. Nothing forced, nothing obvious, just enough to trigger quiet comparison inside her. She does not know exactly what is happening, and that is the point. Too much clarity kills attraction, but uncertainty keeps emotions actively engaged. You maintain balance, not cold, not needy, just grounded and self-controlled. And that emotional neutrality removes pressure while increasing her curiosity again. And when curiosity mixes with scarcity, attraction starts rebuilding on its own. At some point, everything leads to one moment you cannot delay anymore. You are face to face, just you and her. No distractions around. The energy feels different, slower, heavier, like something is about to shift. You feel the tension, but your mind still looks for a perfect signal. You tell yourself to wait. Maybe she gives a clearer sign first. But that sign never comes, because it was never supposed to. The real signal is simple. She chose to be there with you. And that choice already says more than any words ever could. So instead of overthinking, you stay present and move with intention. You hold eye contact a second longer, letting the silence build naturally. You close the space between you, not forcing, just allowing the moment. Because attraction peaks in moments that are felt, not explained logically. And if you hesitate here, everything you built starts collapsing instantly. Not because she rejects you, but because your confidence breaks the frame. But when you act, even imperfectly, something clicks into place emotionally. The tension becomes real. The connection becomes undeniable in that second. And that is where everything shifts from uncertainty into something tangible. And this is where most men think the hard part is finally over. They believe once the moment happens, everything naturally falls into place. But that belief is exactly what causes them to lose her again. Because attraction is not something you win, it is something you maintain. The same patterns that pushed her away can slowly come back unnoticed. You start giving too much again, becoming predictable, losing that edge gradually. And without realizing it, the dynamic shifts back to where it started. She feels comfortable again, but comfort without tension kills attraction over time. That is why what comes after matters more than what got you here. How you hold your frame, your boundaries, your emotional control consistently. Because the version of you she is responding to right now is not the old version she lost attraction for in the past. It is the one you became through distance, awareness, and self-control. And if you lose that version, you lose everything you just rebuilt. So the real question is not how to get her back. It is whether you can keep being the man she cannot fully figure out. And that is something most men never truly learn to master.